So, so of course now, so the question is, did you had any doubts that you were going to succeed, with your business? And if so, how did you overcome those doubts?
I did not have doubts because I had very low expectations. I had no idea like what to I mean, when I first started, all I wanted was, 500 bucks a month, really. So just to basically supplement the money that my husband was bringing in with his job. So I remember I started basically in March of 2013. I was on my own, basically doing some VA work, and I was bringing in my first client, outside my dad being actually my first client. My first client after that was Jason Silverman. As soon as I signed him up for like $300 a month to do his Pinterest marketing, I was like, I've made it. I got my first client. Like, I was thrilled. So everything after that has just been like bonus. But I think, the goals and the expectations have just changed. So for a long time, my goal was just to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to have a good enough business that allowed me to be at home with my son. I now have two kids. But then the business grew, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to grow anymore, I need somebody to help me with my kids. So we hired a nanny, and I worked from home. But then, we had a nanny help out, and then my kids are now like in preschool and daycare, so I actually work outside my house. And I just rented, actually next week we're moving from, I have a small like office right here. It's just one room that I lease, and I just rented a office that's 2,300 square feet. And so so we're going to be, hiring employees locally, and it's just to kind of imagine the growth. So now it's like it's not a work from home, like just like a lifestyle business. Actually, my goals and ambitions have changed to like really grow like an awesome company. So I'm just very optimistic. I don't have a lot of doubts, but I guess that's like the good thing about being an entrepreneur, but it also kind of drives my CFO, my husband, crazy because sometimes I don't have the tightest grip on reality, but I think that's a good thing.
I mean, well, I mean, it's a good thing too because I mean, at the same time, it's like you believe in yourself a lot, so that's what gets you through.
Yeah.
Now, just curious, is it a co-working space that you get in, or is it your own, office building?
Got my own building.
Okay, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right. So now of course, recently, mentioned podcast movement, and I would say for everyone that's watching this that is one of the best conferences to attend for podcasters, and I'm not going to try to do a quick plug, but I would say it's coming up in August 23rd to the 25th, and you guys should definitely come out to that because it's
Mhm.
really awesome. And so,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So anyway, so you've just now like spoken at different conferences, and of course you're about to speak at Social Media Marketing World too, on a
Mhm.
panel next month.
Yeah.
So how is that helping you like getting more business, and for those who are aspiring to be speakers, should what advice would you give to them?
Okay, so the first question, how is it helping my business? Speaking and going to conferences. Okay, let me back up a second. Going to conferences, there's like basically three strategies. There's attending a conference and just networking and meeting people and attending the sessions. So that's what I started doing, is just attending conferences, and that was awesome. Now I go to either sponsor and or speak. So I have a booth at conferences. So next week I'll be in Orlando, Florida, speaking and exhibiting at Podfest, which is awesome. If you're watching this live and you're not going, go Podfest. Are you going to be there, Cheval?
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Awesome.
there next week too. God's will.
Yeah, so I sponsor events and I speak at them, and it's great because it really helps you connect with a lot more people, and the face-to-face connections you can make at conferences really you can't compare that to the online connections. And then my advice for people that want to be speakers, you need to start establishing yourself as an authority and create a ton of content. Like, don't wait for people to come to you. If you want, like, these conferences, they want their speakers to be people that are experts, and the only way you can prove that you're an expert is to talk about your topic until you're blue in the face. Well, that's why on every week on Tuesday, I put out a video. On Wednesday, I put out a podcast. On Thursday, I put out a blog. I'm sending a newsletter out. I'm, on social media. Like, I am the podcast interview queen. I talk about it the most. I do it. We book over 400 interviews a month. There's no question that I am the best person to talk about podcast interviews. And I don't just say that I'm the best person. I actually demonstrate that by all the content marketing that I do. So that's the first thing is, like, you need to be creating content and leading by example, demonstrating that you're the expert and not just filling out a bunch of applications and hoping that somebody picks you. And I would also recommend that you actually invest in the conferences that you want to speak at, not like invest as like an equity partner, but attend the conferences, get to know the people that organize the speakers, get to know the founders of the events, be a giver to them first, because all the conferences that I speak at, the founders, the conference organizers, they know me because I've built a relationship with them. So those are my tips for people that want to be speakers.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And of course, like like how you say, establishing authority, especially like with podcasting. So here's a question: if someone is thinking about starting a podcast, or of course now like live streaming is starting to become starting to become the future in a lot of ways. What a, what should they like go after the big name people who are very well known, or should they start out small with people who they already build relationships with?
Yeah, you should start out small and don't try to, get on Oprah when you start your business the first day, basically. You want to start out small. I mean, when you go on podcasts or when you bring guests on your show, the people that are going to be most willing to help you, to share your show, to help you grow are your peers, people that you have a relationship with, people that know you. There's this big misconception that if I just get on the biggest podcast, like everything will happen to me, tomorrow. A couple things. People that host the, top podcasts on iTunes, they are not interested in like having their fanboys and fangirls who just want to use them to get in front of their audience. They want to have people that are really genuinely, experts in their field. So if you are genuinely an expert and you've demonstrated that, you've created content, you've built your business, you're going to be, you're going to have a big audience. Like, you're going to be a legit expert that they're going to want to bring on their show. So just focus on shows and focus on guests where it's a good connection for you. It's a good relationship for you, because people are going to be, because you know what? Podcast interviews, it's all about the relationships you build. It's not about big time publicity. It's different from traditional media where, the strategy is to get in front of the biggest shows. This is about the connection and the relationship you build with the host. So I would focus on that first.
Awesome, awesome. Now, a question is, which you mentioned